power's cruel blow. Chains on our tongues, they bind tight. In the shadows we lose sight.
Eyes watching the darkened night. Two ticket rules with all might. Voices tremble, hearts in pain. Freedom feels like distant rain.
Oh, the fear that grips the soul when the night takes its toll. Prison bars for words we speak. Under shadows we grow weak.
Hushed cries in the midnight air. Lives caught in the web of despair. Each day a fearful game we play, hiding thoughts we dare not say.
Will the dawn break with light, chase away this endless night? Or will shadows take our call and let our spirit fall? Oh, the fear that grips the soul when the night takes its toll. Prison bars for words we speak. Under shadows we grow weak.
Hushed cries in the midnight air. Lives caught in the web of despair. Each day a fearful game we play, hiding thoughts we dare not say.
Will the dawn break with light, chase away this endless night? Or will shadows take our call and let our spirit fall? Oh, the fear that grips the soul when the night takes its toll. Prison bars for words we speak. Under shadows we grow weak.
It's Friday night and we're all in.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, heart full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop off. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me?
And welcome to Animal Escape Week. We've had cows wandering around Milwaukee, zebras flying through the air in Texas. We've had a whole herd of cows rampaging through a city in California. And we've had a bull in the bull ring. It's all in.
Good evening.
Good evening. How we doing?
Well, as good as can be expected, considering World War III's probably started.
Yeah, it's a mere bag of tell, mate. A mere bag of tell. Hey, if they keep it in the middle, I don't care. I don't.
Well,
care.
I haven't had a drink since Saturday night, but
Cheers.
I just get chills. I just couldn't do it. I mean, technically, I've still got one more set of antibiotics to have tomorrow, but I'm just at a 0 F's given point.
I'm on the bad jar. Anyway, welcome to our favourites in the troll room. Greta and Julie, Emma Watts, Nick Toridos, Ray, Shalini. Oh, where were you last night, Shalini? We missed you last night. We didn't even have adverts on. Where else we had? Julie, David Nolan, good to see you, mate. Oh, who's missing? Harold. Nice to see you, Harold. Haven't seen you for a wee while. Who have I missed? Who have I missed? Yorkshire lad, Jamie. Yep, there you go. Anybody else? Anybody else want to join in? If you want to join in, Robin's joined in on the vertical chat. Most of the chat's on the horizontal stream, Robin, but hey, mate, you do what you want to do. I don't mind. You know, if you want to hang in there, you've made it. You've made it one way or the other. Right. What a week, mate. What a week. Where the hell do we start? I mean, really, let's just go there.
Yeah, let's just kick it off.
Do you like Donald Squash?
Donald Squash.
That's Donald Squash or Squash Donald. It's a representation of Donald that is held in a country fair in Lambeth, right? So apparently they do this every year. I didn't know anything about it. This is Donald Squash from Lambeth. So apparently they do a country fair there and they have all these sort of stupid animal sculptures and stuff like that. Do you know anything about it, London dwellers? Lambeth's in London, isn't it?
My brother is a London dweller and probably doesn't live that far from Lambeth, but I've never heard of Donald Squash.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's a Lambeth Country Fair or something like that, which is pretty good because Lambeth, as far as I'm aware, is completely urban. Is it not?
As far as I know, they probably have parks and
yeah,
I'm sure there's green spaces. Maybe they think of that as countryside. I don't know.
So I upset.
Dwellers are a bit odd.
I upset all the Northern Irish last night on the channel by saying that the Northern Irish accent was horrible, and it fucking is. It's a horrible, harsh, brash accent that I don't like. But anyway,
well, it depends. I mean, some accents are more abrasive than others.
Belfast is awful, but David says it isn't horrible. Shalini will say it's horrible as well because I believe they come from the south. They're Southerners. The real Irish. Right. Okay. Let's crack on, shall we?
We should take a moment to say a quick word of condolences to all of the people who have been impacted by that horrible plane crash in India.
Yeah, all those British people.
Well, the flight was on its way to Gatwick.
Yeah, I know. I know, 52 Brit, 51 Brit, because one of them survived.
Yeah, I mean, there was
Allegedly.
one whole. I saw a picture of earlier on of a whole family that has just been wiped out. So
There was
tragic.
there was some strange stuff on Twitter about it. You know, like family guy, a selfie from a guy with his wife and his 3 kids on the plane moving to London. Who else? There was another two white guys thanking the lucky stars that they were getting out of India and really looking forward to come back. I shouldn't be laughing, but you know, I don't know, defense mechanism, arsehole, call it what you will, I don't care. But anyway, two white English guys obviously on the way back to London and thanking the lucky stars that they were getting on the plane because they'd obviously had enough of India. Unfortunately, they didn't make it. But yeah. Plane crashes are horrible things, and I'm sure we'll find out exactly what happened. But you know what you don't want to do? You don't go on just it's like everything. Every time something happens, somebody goes on and starts pontificating about this and that and this and that, and they just make up shit. They have no fucking idea what happened. Yeah. Let's just work it out, shall we?
Well, there's no pontificating at all, and I didn't necessarily even want to talk about the plane crash unless we've got a slide for it. But
I'm not blaming you, mate. I'm not blaming you.
Bears mentioning that a bunch of people died.
Yeah. Well, it's always Boeing because Boeing. Well, it's not always Boeing because Airbus crashed as well. It was an Airbus that crashed on the way back from Brazil, wasn't it? When its pitot tube iced up and the pilots thought they were going slow and they were actually fucking going that fast that they ripped the wings off the thing. And then it plunged into the South Atlantic, you know. So it's not always Boeing, but there's a shitload of Boeings out there, so that's kind of what happens. Right. Anyway, I'm just not in the mood to brook argument. Well, not to brook argument, but I'm not in the mood to take shite because I've had it up to here. I mean, the latest I've seen. I don't say that. It's the latest I saw was Bonnie Blue. Right, is now a man. What a fucking load of bullshit. And I know I shouldn't be swearing at the start of this, but I mean, really, get a grip. Nobody could construct something that could take a pounding like that, you know? I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, people are fucking ridiculous. They really are. I don't get it, Ed.
Well, there is a section of the alternative media, and I've met some of them who are absolutely convinced that everyone famous is a transgender somehow, that they're all the men are women and the women are men, and there's nothing you can say that will convince them otherwise.
Well, the crazy Cockney on the vertical stream says there was someone on that plane that had to go. Hey, you know what? MH370, you know? Woo.
Well, I mean, maybe there was, maybe there wasn't at this stage. We don't know. We just know that a plane crashed.
Let's just think this through, right? There's someone you don't want to come to Britain, okay? You've got MI6 with all their tools at their disposal, right? And they're good at what they do, MI6. They don't fuck around, okay? So let's just think it through. You've got this guy's going to get on a plane and come to Britain, but you don't want him to come to Britain. You take him out before he gets on the plane. You don't fucking crash the plane with 244 other people on it. You just don't do that. That's just ridiculousness. Even in the madness that is the world that we inhabit, people don't do that. They just don't do it. And I've been on the inside. I've been in the fucking police and I've worked at all levels in the police now after contracting with them for 9 years and access to fucking chief constables and everything. You just don't do that. It's just crazy. And here I am actually giving a fuck. I thought I'd run out of fucks. You've brought it out in me. Well done. You've brought the fucks back. The Twin Towers wasn't to take out people on the planes though, was it? So... I'm responding to the crazy Cockney. Let's just move on, shall we? Let's move on. Let's get into the slides proper. Right. Okay, arise, sir, sad cunt. Oh, who is this guy? Who's doing all the swearing tonight? What's happening?
Well,
Right.
you're the one. You were the one saying we weren't getting high enough views, and we needed to watch our potty mouths.
I know.
You're the one doing all the swearing.
I missed Dookie's surname. I should have said, arise, sir, sad can't. London's mayor knighted by King. What do you think of that?
Well, they knighted Jimmy Savile as well, so enough said about that. I mean, literally, the honours list is basically just a who's who of scumwads.
Yeah.
I mean, given all of the metrics, what Khan has actually done to London.
Oh God, I'm fucking leaking.
But I mean, the thing is that you get these. They get knighthoods for being absolute CUNTs now.
Yeah, they do. I
have more respect for people who turn knighthoods down.
I think so too. Yeah. I don't know what you mean quite there, Crazy Cockney, but hey, keep firing in, mate. Keep firing in. Don't worry about it. We will take all sorts of nonsense on this show. We really will, won't we?
Well, John likes getting abused.
I love it. I'm Scottish. If you insult me, I think it's a compliment. Come on. Right. Lindsay Graham.
Can I stop having to look at these lizards?
Lindsay Graham.
Oh, right. From one lizard to another.
Warmonger. He is literally creaming his pants, isn't he? This guy.
He posted the games on Pray for Israel. I mean, this is war, and we have these powerful people in America who just treat it as a big game, and there's people dying. It doesn't matter. I don't give a shit what side you're on. War is bad. People chucking missiles at each other and dropping bombs on each other is not a good thing. And Lindsey Graham doesn't seem to comprehend just what escalation is.
Yeah, but war,
because it's very easy to start a war. It's very difficult to control it after you've started it.
So what is war but chess for old guys that can't get it up anymore? Yeah. I mean, really, is that not what
it does seem that way sometimes? Yeah,
it does, doesn't it? I mean, it really does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, and it's the young people. It's old. It's usually old people sending young people to die, usually on the basis of some lie or other.
Yeah, I know.
And I mean, what Trump said is, I thought he was supposed to be the peace president. I'm seriously disappointed in the orange man.
He's found the limitations because, let's be honest, right? And there's no way of sugarcoating this, but if you think of America as the dog, the tail that's wagging that dog is that little country in the Middle East that started in 1947, because they have bought your country lock, stock, and barrel. And to be fair, they've got their finger in most everybody else's pies as well.
Lock, stock, the fucking lot.
Yep, they rule the world. You know, you don't need globalism because effectively they do rule the world. And I mean, we've done deep dives into these clowns. We call them what? The black nobility, the Rothschilds. You know, the Rothschilds are bit players. It's when you get to levels like the black nobility, and there is a cabal that does rule the world, and it's usually normal people that just have obscene amounts of money, and through that they have an incredible amount of influence. You know?
Well, I have a rule of thumb on how to work out who's actually in control. If you hear about a super rich, super powerful family that you've never heard the family name, that'd be on the list, because the really, really powerful ones are always in the shadows. And I mean, there's people richer and more powerful than the Rothschilds, guaranteed.
Yeah,
guaranteed. Because the Rothschilds were basically bankers for rich people.
Well, yeah.
I'm not saying that they're still that. I'm not saying they don't have a lot of power and that there is a lot of influence there.
Oh yeah, I mean, when you can poke the future king, in the chest when you're talking to him, you know you've got power, don't you? I mean, that's just a classic picture. That one. I'm just typing an answer to someone in the chat. Right. Okay.
Next slide.
Next slide. The big chat's on the horizontal stream, Crazy Cockney, but you're more than welcome to stay exactly where you are, mate. If you're watching us, I'm happy. XBBC DJ branded the Jimmy Savile of trolling after tormenting Jeremy Vine and driving another victim to the brink of suicide is freed early from prison. Yay! Belfield's out.
I think Belfield deserves to get out. And
did he deserve to go?
He was the Jimmy Savile of trolling. I don't think he deserved to go into prison at all, frankly.
You think he was set up?
To call him to the Jimmy Savile of trolling is just typical Daily Mail nonsense.
Do you think he was set up because he was actually getting quite a big audience on YouTube, wasn't he? He was really starting to
yeah, I mean, the thing is, he also kind of emphasised just how much Jeremy Vile is loathed.
Yeah, I posted a tweet this morning in response to this saying, I really do detest Jeremy Vile, but even though I really hate Jeremy Vile, I cannot, in good conscience, condemn the actions of Alex Belfield. And of course, that immediately got responses from Dick Dellingpole, who comes on as, condemn or condone? Do you not condemn or not condone? Oh, my bad, I've said the wrong word. It's a pity I'm not a blue tick and I can't go in and edit it. Oh, what I said, it stands. Oh, well. I'm just a troublemaker. Anyway.
We knew that already.
Right, Belfast. Back to Belfast. I'm going to Belfast where people talk funny. Anyway,
well, this one of the overriding takeaways that I've got about the whole Belfast thing is the fact that the whole focus is on the far right racist thugs, and there's nothing said of the three women that have been RAPED.
Yeah. Well, that was the same in Southport, wasn't it? Because the focus very quickly changed to the people that were, responding to what had happened in Southport, and the focus turned to them as the bad guys rather than the people that kicked it all off by actually conducting the thing in the first place.
Where's the really, really bad ones? And none of those people. It's the politicians that are creating the conditions for this nonsense to happen. Simple as. I mean, and the situation in Ballymena is it's complicated, but it essentially amounts to a single group of heinous individuals perpetrating all sorts of nasty shit.
Yeah. So what I'd like to do actually is have a quick look at this tweet and see what it says, because it says asylum seeker support includes £49.18 a week and basic temporary accommodation. How many are there in Ballymena? 0. In fact, there are 0 registered asylum seekers in the entire Mid and East Antrim local government area. And there is the critical word, registered. Because these guys are travelling about. And that's part of the problem. They're travelling about without any control. So it doesn't matter if they're registered somewhere else. There's nothing to stop them being in Ballymena. And this is the part I don't think people are picking up on. Because people are seeing these guys and they're moving about. And there's no controls over the movement.
But it's also this thing is like a pressure cooker. Because it's not just this particular incident. When things like this happen, you get a lot of pent up anger that people are feeling anyway. That's not connected to this particular event.
Yeah.
And it bubbles over. And I mean, Northern Ireland is not. I mean, yes, we've since the Good Friday agreements and stuff, we've had a semblance of peace there. But sectarianism
on a knife edge.
it's always bubbled under the surface in Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
And what's even worse is that I've seen various comments from people who I'm not gonna name, actually seemingly trying to stoke up problems between Catholics and Protestants as a way of deflecting from other people. I mean, it's disgusting. So
Yeah.
some people are just vile.
Yeah, two Irish people in the chat there, David Nolan and Shalini, are saying they're heading between the Republic and the UK using the common travel area, and that's exactly what they're doing. And Shalini saying you just have to hop on a train from Belfast and Dublin, and you're on the ferry and you're in the UK mainland, and there's no real checks. There's no real checks.
Absolutely.
Right,
And
moving on.
I mean, but yeah.
The Bull in the Bull Ring. So this rather strapping lad was seen wandering about Birmingham city centre, and it took a fair bit of calming down. So they've now called him Liam for some obscure reason, and they reckon he may have fled a backstreet abattoir. As always, the BBC omits what the nature of a backstreet abattoir actually is. I don't know if you've seen any backstreet abattoirs in your time, Ed, but I can pretty much guarantee who runs backstreet abattoirs. And it's not registered slaughterhouses, I'll give you that. You think you're getting lamb in that kebab? You could be getting, well, did they not mince a girl up once? And I shouldn't really bring that up, but I think
that was Rotherham or somewhere. Yeah, I mean, there was a story of that happening.
Yeah,
I don't know whether the story is true or not. I'm assuming it is.
I think it might be. Pretty horrific. Pretty horrific.
But yeah, I suppose as a policeman, it'd be a more interesting day on the job than others. Having to deal with a bull running around the street.
Cows are a fucking nightmare to deal with. And I went to a road accident once in the A78 where I think, was it 3 or 4 bullocks, which aren't even full-grown bulls, but 3 or 4 bullocks had got onto the A78, which is fast dual carriageway, and 8 cars crashed into them on the roofs, people injured, the whole lot, and yet people can't fucking see, they can't see past the fact that the cop in that 4x4 knocked the bull down that was running towards a motorway that time, remember? You go, look at the poor bull, the brutal police have knocked it over. And the bull was actually all right. But they stopped it. They stopped it and got it under control, because the last thing you want is a big, heavy animal like that getting onto a fast A road or motorway. And then you're going to have absolute carnage.
Yeah.
So, very simple. Everyone not with the program is now a terrorist. And I think the Prevent training showed us that, didn't it? And I think I've got a slide that covers that in the next slide. But
anyone
even
that Keir Starmer doesn't like seems to be a terrorist.
Yeah, well, pretty much. Isn't that what you do when you get into position of power? You just target the people you don't like. England football fans chant Keir Starmer is a naughty word. And yeah, he is. I don't think there is anyone.
He is. I mean, if you just have to go to any random post of his on X, scroll through the replies, and just look at how many times he gets called a CUNT. Literally,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that people don't just not like him. He's actively despised.
Indeed. And moving on, we have the Prevent training, which was leaked to us, wasn't it? So these are 3 of the criteria that people will take into account if you're going to be classified as a terrorist: extreme right-wing terrorist ideology, Western culture is under threat from mass migration and lack of integration by certain. So if you believe that, you could be considered a right-wing terrorist. Wow.
We know we're totally right-wing terrorists, don't you?
Yeah. Hey, I mean, we used to bandy it about as a joke, one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter, all that kind of nonsense. And it's never been more true. It's never been more true, has it?
It really hasn't.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be honest, the word is thrown around so much now. And given what governments do, because I mean, if you look at some of the stuff that certainly the British government does, could easily be referred to as terrorism. I mean, when you're trying to change politics using violence, I mean, that's what the bloody government does all the time.
Yeah. Well, of course. I mean, the government have a monopoly on violence, don't they?
Well, yeah,
State has a
that's
monopoly.
the whole point.
Yeah, state has a monopoly in violence. White Eastern nationalism is also banned. Can't be nationalistic. If you're white. If you're black, it's okay, but if you're white, you can't be nationalistic. Right, moving on. Chancellor to announce 86 billion for science and technology and where the fuck is she getting 86 billion pounds? Huh?
Well,
I thought they were 22 million black hole.
She had her parliamentary credit card taken away because she was $4,000 in debt and she had to pay it back. So she's effectively treating the nation's finances the same way that she treated her parliamentary credit card. And the thing is that when you actually look at the science and technology that they're investing in, it's all nonsense net zero crap. And I mean, they're talking about building AI data centers, and we've got the highest energy costs in Europe. There isn't a single AI data center company in their right mind that would set up in the UK.
Not now. Especially now that we keep poking the bear, because those two big Amazon data centers in London are boom, they're Oreshnik targets. Definitely. You would take them out. Because you take out those two big data centers, you just cripple the whole of the infrastructure in the UK. Anyway, moving on. According to Rachel from Complaints / Accounts, there's no millionaires leaving the UK.
There really are.
Yeah, there really is.
It's not just this stat. There was another one that I saw in the week relating to, because in Companies House, the board members and directors of companies have to be listed with their location. And actually, when you look through them, there's huge numbers that are changing their locations.
Yeah.
To places like the UAE and Singapore. And
yeah,
I mean, the government they're essentially completely breaking the economy. They've got no idea what they're doing. It's a mixture of Marxist idiocy and like school level politics. I mean, it's just absurd.
There's actually a good point. Shalini doesn't want the Amazon data centers to be a target because Vaughan works there. There's not much I can do about it. You better ask Putin not to drop a bomb on us, or tell Keith to fucking toe the line and stop being such an arse.
If it's any consolation, the chances of Russians targeting Amazon data centers within Oreshnik are somewhere between slim and non-existent.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, if anything, they would be attacking places like Portsmouth.
Oh no, they'll do the whole lot. They'll do the whole lot in one go. They would. I can give you a map of exactly what.
Just a waste of good missiles.
Yeah, but
literally.
The thing is, if you're going to use nuclear missiles in a limited form, what you want to do is you want to have a lot of dispossessed people that don't have anything available to them, because then the country that you've targeted has to spend all its time attending to its own people. So you swamp their hospitals, you swamp their food and logistics. You make people homeless and having to move around. That's how war works, mate. That's how war works. I mean, look what Israel's done in Gaza. That's playbook. That's playbook stuff. It's exactly how you do it.
West.
It's how you do it. Yeah.
Well,
no, there's no it's playbook for the West. This is how you do war, right? If you want to win, that's how you do it, and that's how the Russians would do it on us. They wouldn't hang about.
Okay, so how come they haven't flattened Kiev?
Because they don't want to have to live with a country that's flattened and have to rule it like that. They wanted a peaceful solution. They wanted them to stop shelling.
It makes no sense that the Russians would bomb the UK. We would have to actually openly attack them. Even being involved in these train bombings and stuff like that.
It makes sense if they start actually engaging with Russia, then it will make sense. Because you know what Putin says: if there's an existential threat to Russia, they'll use nukes.
Yeah, but there's nothing that the UK has got apart from the bloody tridents, which would be lucky if they actually managed to launch them without them blowing up their own submarines.
Well, I still think...
And the Americans have to do that anyway.
Well, yeah.
I just think let's move on, because we're just talking about something that just chances of it happening, to my mind, are really small.
Right. So
Oh God.
so Rachel's going to give a 500 million boost to hydrogen, and this says that Keith says this is his plan. This is in his plan for a new industry that's going to revitalise Britain. We're going to be the forefront of a new hydrogen
Complete waste of money.
infrastructure. Yeah, I know that. I mean, this clown hasn't obviously looked at how much energy that it takes to make hydrogen. You can only make hydrogen if you've got cheap electricity. And that's the one thing we don't have. We don't have cheap electricity. So how the fuck are you going to start making hydrogen? I mean, are the Chinese actually mining helium-3 on the moon right now? It's a good question.
It's a good question. I think personally it's a bit of a stretch, but
well, they're on the dark side, so what the fuck are they doing up there? You know, I mean, okay, they don't have people up there, but they've got machinery.
Well, yeah, but if they were mining it to bring it back, you would expect people would know about it, because you'd have
Well,
Chinese.
haven't brought it back yet, have they? But, yeah. Right. Anyway, let's go back. Let's go to more riots. Oh well, here's Scotland. See this picture here? This is Scotland. That's what's it called? Huntlerston. So these last year, I think Scotland was all about nuclear power, and now it's all going to be renewables. They're dumping nuclear and everything just for renewables. There you go. That's the SNP's plan. Great job, guys. Great job. Great job. Australian news reporter shot with rubber bullet live on air while covering early anti-ice riots. And the guy did. I mean, there's video. The guy took aim at her and shot her. He didn't shoot her in the ass, which would have been funnier, but he shot her in the ankle or something like that. I bet that stung in the morning. But yeah.
Yeah, I think she actually posted a picture of her leg the next day, and that didn't look pleasant.
Yeah, well, you know what? Don't stand on the side. Don't stand in between the police and the rioters.
No.
You know, just don't do it. I mean, regardless of what you're trying to achieve, don't stand in the way. And if the police tell you to get out of there, which they probably had done on a number of occasions, it might be wise to do it, because American police aren't known for exactly for the restraint, are they?
No, especially not in a situation like that when everything's kicking off. I mean, what's happened in LA, in California, it's just, I mean, it's got elements of a regime change operation about it and all sorts. Mental. It
stinks of Democrats funding again. It's like a George Soros colour revolution, isn't it? Although, when people post pictures of bricks that are in New Jersey, which is 3,000 miles away, and say, oh, this is a Democrat, or, you know, for fuck's sake, people, it's not hard these days. It's not hard to find out where a photo was taken.
No.
Retarded. And then the rioters called Waymos, self-driving cars, you know, the taxis, and destroyed them. And then they called up more and destroyed them, and then called up more. And I mean, could somebody at Waymo not think, maybe we should just call the cars back to base? Yeah?
Yeah. Or just create a blacklist of particular areas or whatever. But it's interestingly, because apparently the anti-ICE riots were because ICE raided a factory that was essentially a front for lots of money laundering and cartels and stuff like that, and that was when it all kicked off.
Yeah, the rioting's still going.
So they were actually going for funding sources and then places where the money was being kept.
Trump sent the National Guard in because Gavin Newsom wouldn't do it, and then Newcomb took them to court. And the court agreed with Newcomb, but the court still left the National Guard under control of Trump at the moment. So there's a temporary stay on telling them to give them back to Newcomb. Ray says hydrogen is the most abundant element. Wouldn't think it would be that hard to extract. Extract from what? What were you extracting it from, Ray? The water? Then you need to provide electrolysis, which needs electricity. And that's how you get hydrogen. That's why you need lots of cheap electricity to extract hydrogen. It is hard. Because water and hydrogen and oxygen make a pretty solid bond called water. You know, you've got to heat it up to 100 degrees before you start to split it.
That's the thing about hydrogen is there is an awful lot of it, but it's all locked up with everything else. We've got hydrocarbons, we've got water. There's a certain amount of hydrogen in the air, but that's a very, very, very tiny percentage. You won't be able to extract it from air. So to get hydrogen from anything, the most abundant form is water.
Yeah, absolutely. Yorkshire lad says Labour government don't look after us in any place. So there's no chance of a nuke hits us. Well, that's true, mate. That's true.
Yeah.
Right, moving on. Bro wonders why. Right, this just fucking astounds me, and I think
I haven't seen this one.
Right,
this
is a guy in a shipyard, and he's an American, so it's not the one at Greenock, because this is the second ferry, you know, the Glen Rosser, the ones that have taken. Well, it's taken them longer to build these two ferries than it took to build two aircraft carriers, and it's probably cost nearly as much. So this one's apparently, when it rains, the thing starts flooding because it gets in the vents for the engines. Anyway, this guy goes. So he measures the distance between the top of the Coke can and the top of the lying down one, then reverses their position and says, "Why has the distance changed?" Because he's a fucking retard, that's why. If you can't work it out, maybe you need to start thinking critically. Think critically. Hey, Hatchy. You're on the vertical stream. Good to see you. Right, moving on. The national fears were ignored by party headquarters. This is all to do with the Hamilton by-election, where they're blaming Reform. Right, they're blaming Reform on the fact that they lost. Okay, now they only lost by like 600 votes, but it was so fucking close between all three parties, between SNP, Labour, and Reform, because Labour won the seat, right? But
what
it was
the turnout?
Well, I'm not sure. I don't know the turnout, but they only lost by 600. They lost by 600 votes, but Reform nearly beat them into second place, right? And Labour just beat them into first. So, from a solid seat, a solid SNP seat for what, 12 years or something, never, you know, there's suddenly a Labour seat now, right? And that's also bearing in mind that Reform just wouldn't just take SNP voters. They would take Labour voters as well. So they really don't fucking like the SNP if they're voting Labour in. Are people just, well, Scots are stupid. I mean, I've got to say it. We are. Right.
Sorry. Just politics. No, go on. Let's move on.
Yeah. Right, here we go. Exmouth Police. We have a new, what is this, a Police Community Support Officer, or PCSO? PCSO Willis will be the Police Community Support Officer for Budleigh, Salterton and the Clyst Valley. This is a massive thing for us, as this has been a gaping black hole in our, they put gapping, it should have been gaping black hole in our community policing for some time now. PCSO Willis will be completing his cycling proficiency badge shortly. We'll be getting out onto the community on his police bike. He's cycling proficiency. Get out of here. That's a fucking joke.
Policemen used to ride bicycles 100 years ago.
Yeah, but you don't need a fucking cycling proficiency. That's for 12-year-olds, not for adults.
Well, obviously.
He's getting his bike license.
It's just... But then everything, because of health and safety, everything has to be licensed and trained, and you have to have a certificate for it. And he's probably had to attend multiple bloody cycle training courses. And
have you done a risk analysis for getting on and off that bike? Oh, right. Okay. Here we go. American truck driver is brought to tears. Today's the worst day of my life. Today's the day I turn my truck in. He says, even being away 7 weeks or more at a time, working non-stop, the cost of insurance, interest, and operating the truck has bankrupted him. I feel for you, mate. I really do. But what concerns me is you've been driving a fucking 40-ton behemoth of a vehicle on the streets of that fair land, America. And look at the fucking corrective lenses that he's wearing. That's scary.
well, as long as they work.
As long as they work. Fucking hell, man. It's like a comedy horror movie, you know, when he puts a magnifying glass in front of his eye. Anyway, moving on. First of all, I thought this was something about Etonians, but it's not. I think this is one of yours.
Oh, this is hilarious. Yeah, some Estonians are up in arms over Coca-Cola bottles featuring Russian names like Alexander, Olga, and Irina, even demanding that they be pulled from shelves. Coke says that blame the stats. Those are some of Estonia's most popular names. Mm-hmm. Identity crisis carbonated. I mean, this just goes to show you how utterly mental the Estonians are. I mean, it's not just Kaja Kallas. She's like a representative of this batshit crazy little tiny ass country that just has major issues. They really do. They've got serious problems.
Yeah, they've got a massive chip on their shoulder, haven't they?
Huge. Absolutely enormous.
Yeah. It's like the little dog that barked, isn't it?
Mm. I mean, bringing those 3 Baltic states into NATO is one of the stupidest ideas I've ever heard.
Put them in the EU. I mean, have you been to Europe and driven around? And it's nothing but Lithuanian and Polish lorries. It's always Lithuanian and Polish lorries. Where are these lorries all going? Anyway,
I don't know.
Right. This is one of yours as well. I don't know if you want to read this one out or shall I?
I know. Well, this is all about Pavel Durov and his interview with Tucker Carlson, saying that in the US they essentially have a law that says that the government can go to individual engineers, not companies, but like engineers within Google, and they have to essentially build back holes and do whatever the government tells them. Yeah. And they're not even allowed to tell their employer, not allowed to tell anybody what they've done. And that was Durov was saying that's why he didn't have his team working in America, because of the danger of
compromise.
The government going to one of his engineers and saying you have to put back holes into Telegram.
Has the government ever asked you to put a back door in?
Well, I wouldn't be able to tell you even if they did.
I found a picture.
No, for the record, nobody's ever come to me and asked me to build any back holes.
Right. Okay.
Back
moving
doors,
on.
Rather.
Right. Moving on. The only passenger out of the 240, I think it was 244, to have survived the Air India crash in Ahmedabad, walking towards the ambulance. That's him there. This British guy.
Well, yeah. Supposedly he opened the escape, one of the escape hatches, and jumped out. And I've seen video that does actually look like something about like the size door of an emergency door coming off the plane.
Yeah, I've seen that as
You don't see the guy jumping out, but...
No, you don't, but you do see the door. And, these things happen. I mean, it's not common, but I remember there was a plane crash in America and there was like a little girl in a seat or something and she survived and everybody else around her completely dead. But these things do happen, right? Miracles do happen. But the amount of people that are like pulling it up to this accidental hero thing. You ever seen this movie? So plane goes down.
No,
Gina Davis is on the plane. Plane goes down. The Dustin Hoffman character at the front saves her, right, and then just walks off. Okay, he walks away. And then she's trying to track him down because she's an investigative reporter. She's trying to track him down to thank him and all that. And Andy Garcia steps up and goes, "It was me. I was the guy that saved you. I was on the plane," and he wasn't. It was all. So people are saying this guy was working in the call center and saw the opportunity. That's fucking nuts. I mean,
Well,
having said that,
maybe he got badly beaten up by his wife and he didn't want to admit it, so he jumped out of the plane.
Having said that, it is India. I wouldn't put anything past them. But yeah, absolutely mental. So there's another theory that's going the rounds just now. You just can't keep up. You just cannot keep up with all this madness. It seems to be.
While we're on air, there'll be a whole bunch more madness.
Yeah, but it's like, why does everybody think everything's a conspiracy? I mean, it's like, somebody
because
said
because of so much of the crazy stuff that's happened. Literally, when you get to a point where there's so many conspiracies and so much government fuckery that people get to it's. I do know people that paint the same everything with the same brush.
David Nolan, right? David Nolan. You know what? Somebody suggested on Twitter today that Sean Young was a man. Sean Young.
Well,
fuck
yeah.
off.
Let's not rehash that. Every man's a woman, every woman's a man. I can't.
It's awful.
I can't take it seriously. I honestly can't. I mean, I'm not saying that it doesn't happen sometimes. For example, Brigitte Macron. I totally don't think that's a bird, but it's not all of them.
It's not all of them. It's not all of them. I mean, and it's not every actress in Hollywood. It just isn't.
No.
Next year we'll try to say Gillian Anderson's a man. Anyway, glancing at your phone for 2 seconds while sat in station. I've never quite understood this. You can't use your phone while the engine's running and you're on a road, right? Okay, or you're subject to 6 points and a £200 fine if you're caught or spied on by Jeremy Vine, right? I've never quite understood this. If the car's not moving and you're not going anywhere, why can't you look at your phone?
Yeah, or even just look at it to change your playlist or whatever. Yeah. But it's also, because like with mine, I have my phone because I've got an old car that doesn't have all this computerized nonsense. Mm-hmm. So I use my phone for navigation and I have it stuck on the windscreen. But even when I glance at the phone to check directions, I'm not actually I can still see the road. Whereas if you've got one of those console mounted GPSs, sat navs, you're constantly having to look down at your dashboard and you're taking your eyes off the road.
Yeah, I know. It's
so
crazy. Actually,
the way that I do it is way more sensible. But the whole notion that you can then get nicked because, what's the difference between turning your air conditioner on and off or pressing the skip button on your phone to change the track because Spotify's decided to play something really stupid that you find very annoying?
Exactly. I mean, I was a cop. I actually did a guy for eating a nice lolly while driving his car.
You nicked someone for eating an ice lolly. Well, I'm sure it's technically illegal, but what a bastard!
No. But hold on, let me just explain the context.
The man was probably hot. Needed an ice lolly to cool down.
Yeah, explain the context. Okay.
Go on then.
So, as a result of eating the ice lolly, as he was negotiating the corner from the main road into the side road, he swerved across the main road and missed the police car that I was sitting in by 2 inches while he was on the wrong side of the road. That's why he got nicked for eating an ice lolly, because he wasn't in full control of his vehicle. And he wasn't.
So you nicked him for not being in control of the vehicle, not for eating a bloody ice lolly.
It was because he was eating an ice lolly that he wasn't in control of the vehicle. So, there you go. Anyway, right. Yes, I am a bastard. I am. Or I could be. So apparently the US edition of George Orwell's book now carries a trigger warning because of problematic views that are in, or is George Orwell pointing out here? the problematic views of government. Yeah.
Well, I heard it got done because it had a trigger warning on it because there's no people of color in it. Because when it was written, Britain was like 99% white.
Yeah.
And so George Orwell didn't think to put people of color in it. And because there's no people of color in it, it's triggering.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But I mean, the problematic themes, this is why, because when we were kids, 1984 and Animal Farm required reading in school. And things started going downhill when those books came off the required reading list.
I don't think there was any people of colour in the Gulag Archipelago.
No, or Brave New World.
Yeah, or Dr. Zhivago.
Or well, most of Shakespeare, like 99% of Shakespeare.
Yeah, well, unless you're watching a modern remake of it. We all did Animal Farm at school, Shalini. It was required reading, wasn't it?
I try not to watch modern remakes of anything.
No, I know.
They're all shit.
I went to the pictures to see. Oh, I told you this last night. To see what's it called? That dragon thing. How to Train Your Dragon. The boy dragged me along to it, and there was a whole bit on that. I mean, I've actually written a review and recorded it, I think. No, I haven't recorded it yet, but I've written it. There was a whole thing on that. The first 15 minutes of the movie is fucking exposition. It's incredible. But even Gerard Butler gets in, and talking about bad accent, Gerard Butler, who is from Paisley, which is where the cinema was actually, I was sitting watching it and listening to this clown who sounds like he's come from, I don't know. I mean, Christ knows where he's come from. But anyway, he actually was born and brought up in Paisley. So he gives us a whole speech and thanks all these diverse characters that are part of this Viking village, who then take no further part in the movie. What's the point? What was the point?
Moving on.
I remember Yorkshire Lad says BBC put colour in during the 70s with the black and white minstrel show, and they're getting slated for it now. Yes, they did. They also, if you remember Top of the Pops, Pan's People, they had diversity in there. They had that Indian bird, didn't they? Right, moving on. Someone asked me the other day if I believe in conspiracies. Well, sure, here's one. It's called the political system. It's nothing if not a giant conspiracy to rob, trick, and subjugate the population. I think he was right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think,
hammer, nail, done.
Yep. We are with you on that one. This next meme, I've got to give it to him. It's a cracker. Buy our book. It costs about the same as a babysitter for a couple of hours.
Oh dear.
It's a shame. It's a shame. I mean, we know what happened to her, but it's a shame. It's still a shame. These bastards getting off with it as well. Anyway, two brothers who swapped houses to con the taxpayer out of £315,000 walk free after the judge claims the greatest punishment was the loss of your good name. So
this is from February 2013.
Yeah, I know, but this is...
How does this constitute the last week?
I never said it was. I'm just saying this is a cracking example, though, of how people work the political and judicial system to their benefit. I mean, these guys swapped houses and then claimed they were renting them from each other, so that they were getting housing benefit, even though they owned another house. Anyway, right, moving on. President Putin has signed a law on fines of up to $5,500 for selling energy drinks to children. I agree with this. I think he's quite right.
Spot on. Absolutely bloody brilliant idea.
Yeah. I mean, kids shouldn't be drinking this shit. In fact, humans shouldn't be drinking this shit. It's not good for you. I mean, you shouldn't be drinking this shit either.
You can't necessarily, I mean, I don't think you should be restricting what soft drinks adults can buy, but you shouldn't be giving this crap to kids. Definitely
no, I'm not suggesting that I would restrict it, but if you had any sense, you wouldn't be drinking that shit.
I don't.
Yep. Moving on, scientists create a new jibby jab that even works on viruses they haven't discovered yet. And that's fucking fantastic. Can you explain to me, like I'm 5, how they know? How do they know?
Virology is pseudoscientific nonsense, and there's no
Yeah.
such thing as a virus. So it's just some random toxic garbage that probably has all sorts of stuff in it that's not good for you. And if I say any more, I'm probably going to get the channel into trouble. So let's move on.
Yes, let's moving on. Scott Gov. In the New Scotland will the suicide hotline call you? Canadian doctor tells the BBC, we used to offer suicidal people counselling and care. Now we are seeing that as an appropriate request to die and ending their lives very quickly. And this actually reminds me of a thing I saw from a Canadian veteran, military veteran, soldier, I think she was, Marine or something like that. And she'd been injured, not in combat, but in the course of her duties, and pensioned out.
Is that the one that wanted a stair lift?
Yeah. So she phoned up and asked if there was a fund where she could, get some help in buying a stair lift. And they said, sorry, there's nothing available to you. But if things are getting too much for you, could we offer you assisted dying?
Well, this is what that repulsive Ledbetter woman wants for the UK.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I just think what if you look at Canada, the last thing you want is that MAID stuff here. I mean, it's just sick. It's a sign of a fundamentally sick and broken society.
It's the pods out of Futurama, remember?
Yeah.
That's what it is. Right. Moving on. What is the Economist on here, mate? What the hell are they on?
I don't know. I saw this, and I mean, people should actually go to the Economist's X feed and look for this post.
And ask them what the hell they mean.
No. Just read through the replies. Literally, just read through the replies, because it's one of those moments where everything you could possibly want to say has already been said by someone else. Literally, I mean, it's the fact that just the fact that this vile creature is being Bonnie Blue should not be in the Economist. What the hell? I mean.
She's actually.
But also, how are her strengths Britain's strengths? What, being gangbanged by a bunch of strangers? I mean, okay, so I know we're being gangbanged by the government every day, and we literally just have the cabinet taking turns on us.
I'm going to move on. I've got to move on. Right, okay. So there's a couple of tweets here, but let's concentrate on the Apple iPhone here.
Oh yeah, you want to move on? Says the guy that's been swearing since the beginning of the show.
Okay, carry on.
No, I'm joking. Let's move on.
No. Right. So I'm looking at this Apple iPhone here. So this is liquid glass they've come up with as a new GUI or whatever. Okay. And I'm thinking, what the hell are these guys smoking? Because they've taken something that was eminently readable and they've made it almost totally freaking invisible and think it's a step forward. These guys are nuts. They've lost it.
Well, that's UI designers for you.
You're right. Right. That is UI design.
I feel super sorry for all of the iPhone developers out there who now have to change their entire UI to make it match with this new liquid glass.
But you don't need to use it though, do you? You don't need to assign the liquid glass as there.
Well, no, but the problem with keeping your app a previous version of the frameworks. And also, I mean, to some extent, it'll adjust automatically. So the UI elements that they're using in the app will actually automatically be restyled once the update comes through. But you have spacing issues and font size issues. It's never going to be a completely seamless transition.
Yeah.
But I don't use an iPhone because I hate them. But this to me is not an improvement.
I used to hate them until I got a Samsung S23 and found out it was a piece of shite. and I switched to an iPhone, and actually it's a pretty okay experience. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't use it for much. I use it for taking phone calls, sending messages. That's about it. Because I do everything else on the PC. So anyway, I was going to read this. This is back from the day. Do you remember the 2020s? or the 2021s when you couldn't go far. Hi, I don't suppose it's. I can't actually say the words that she's writing because the spelling's that bad. Hi, I don't suppose anyone has any board games to get. They are no longer using to get can deliver to the Nook as I have a 6-year-old self-isolating AD is climbing the walls. Lol, thank.you in advance. And someone replies with, I doubt Scrabble is of any use to you. I think you're right, sir. I think you are right.
That must. I mean, it's because it's clear that one's on Facebook, but I mean, people on Facebook don't normally make such witty retorts.
No, they don't. Right, moving on. At the end of the interview, when asked how often he has doubts, Zelensky noted that even Winston Churchill felt moments. He fucking thinks he's Winston Churchill, doesn't he?
He really does.
The guy is so far up his own anus that he can see his tonsils.
He's literally at this point. It's like we've got Scarface running a country. I mean, if you watch the movie and you see what is it, Tony Montana? Is that him?
I've never seen Scarface.
You should watch it.
David Nolan tried to put it up as one of the movies for us to review, and the audience didn't pick it. But I've never seen Scarface.
It's worth a watch because he goes from just the slip into the slippy slide into degeneracy. It almost mirrors Zelensky. I mean,
does it?
But also, if you look at the way all the European leaders have always treated him and stuff, it's just the fawning. It was one of the reasons I created the Vlandel in the first place in my memes.
Yeah.
Because it was just like turning him into Ukrainian Jesus or something.
So Ray is Ray's throwing the cat amongst the pigeons again with he's comparing himself to the guy who bankrupted Britain. And, he's got a point. Churchill wasn't quite the man you think he was.
No. Churchill's actually a big rabbit hole.
Yeah, maybe we should do Churchill,
We'd end up pissing quite a lot of people off because
I know.
He's held in a reverence that when you actually look at his actual history, it doesn't really deserve.
Could I just even tease it by saying he was an evil bastard?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Evil warmongering bastard.
Right, okay, moving on. Speaking of evil bastards, what about Tobias Elwood?
Oh, Toby the twat, Toby the terrorist, Toby the 77th Retard Brigade wanker.
What is this guy on? It's time for Britain to fight Russia directly. Whoa, who with? What with? Why?
Yeah, off you go, Toby. Go on. I mean, if you're sitting there pontificating, why don't you take your kids and you go to Ukraine and you sign up for the military and you go to the front line and you take the Russians on directly? How about that? Them apples. I mean, all of these idiots they've literally spent years gutting the military, sending. I mean, in the last 5 years, last 3 years, they've sent pretty much all of our kit to Ukraine. We've got no howitzers. We've got hardly any tanks left. I mean, it's absurd. And they think that we're in any kind of condition to fight Russia. They're delusional idiots.
Yeah, they are. Oh,
and he's one of the worst. His affiliation with the 77th Brigade is, I don't know. I don't think that is right in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. The guys are not. Right. Oh, we're halfway. We've reached the halfway spot. We're doing well. We're just over the hour as well. Right. Okay. Where are we? And don't say halfway. So Ukraine has accepted the body. Remember, we talked about this last week, that Russia had turned up with 6,000 bodies in a refrigerated truck, and we're waiting on the border for the Ukrainians to come and pick them up. And the Ukrainians weren't appearing. So Ukraine has finally accepted 1,212 of them because their families have declined financial compensation. So they have taken the bodies where the family have said, it's okay, we just want our guy back. You don't need to pay us. What the actual?
That's disgusting,
isn't it?
I mean, it's just another in a long line of disgusting actions by thoroughly disgusting regime in Kiev. I mean, they're kidnapping men off the streets. I mean, I saw a story. I don't think I sent it to you, but it was from a Ukrainian training ground where they're taking all of these guys that they're picking up off the streets.
Right.
They've actually mined the perimeter of their own training ground to stop these guys escaping. I mean, you couldn't make it up. So they kidnap them, stick them in the army, send them to the front line with virtually no training. The poor bastards get slaughtered, as you'd expect, and then they won't even take the body back until the family says, "No, we don't want any financial compensation." Like that. How much more evilness does one have to do? And then we've got our politicians talking about how these guys are allies and everything else. I mean,
oh God, Shalini's reliving.
And then this next one.
Oh, sorry,
no, go on.
Shalini's reliving the video that came from the Indian flight that was. Somebody clipped a guy shouting out on this Air India flight, "Whoever is farting, please stop. It is awful." It smells so bad. Oh, right. Sorry, carry on. So the next one.
So next one. British mothers have to accept that their sons will have to die for NATO. I just... you can't... I mean, how many British mothers are going to accept the fact that their son's going to die for Finland or Estonia or Ukraine or... I mean, they're so out of touch that they I mean, it just blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. The arrogance, the inhumanity, and this entitledness. It's just sickening. Absolutely sickening.
Indeed, that is. Right, moving on. Genuinely don't think anything beats this one. I think you're right, mate. I think you are right. Institute for the Study of War. This is the Institute for the Study of War, right? Putin may have ordered the Russian military command to hold all Russians' initial defensive positions to create the illusion that Ukrainian counteroffensives have not achieved any tactical or operational effects despite substantial Western support. Is this the Ministry of Wank speak?
I mean, the Institute for the Study of War is, I mean, it's a neocon think tank, but it's also the scary thing is that an awful lot of what's happened in Ukraine has been directed by these people. And a lot of the press, I mean, if you look at the media, they treat what these guys say as gospel. And this is just doublethink word salad nonsense.
Yeah, it's absolute nonsense.
I mean, it's mind blowing. It's the fact that people are actually pumping this stuff out just blows my peanut.
And moving on. Helensky outraged over Hungarian posters opposing Ukraine's EU bid. Zelensky lashed out after Hungarian campaign posters showed his image in the context of an upcoming vote on Ukraine's EU membership. I didn't give Orban permission for this. I'm the president of another country. Using me for domestic politics is wrong, he protested.
Yeah, but if Orban was using his image to promote the war,
oh, it'd be fine.
To try and
it'd be fine.
To bring in money, he'd have no problem with it. But I just thought that the montage of pictures was good. They found a great picture of Orban.
They did. Yeah, they did. Right. Okay. Today we heard from Felicia, a single mom of 4 who works up to 3 jobs at a time to make ends meet. She counts on Snap to help put food on the table. How much fucking food is Snap putting on the table?
Well, it's probably the sort of food.
This is who Republicans in Congress are trying to take food away from. And this is not a fucking wind-up. This is real. Oh, because that's the senator. Did you see the senator that got arrested today at Kirsty Noem's speech? What the fuck is going on in America? that they are now handcuffing senators who ask questions of other senators.
I mean, this is just America.
Yeah, it's fucking
It's-
descending into comedy, isn't it? It really is.
Well, it seems to be going to the next level.
Yeah, it is. Oh, speaking of the next level, France's national rail company. This is an old tweet as well. Are you going to pull me up for this, even though you sent it to me? Right. So France's national rail company consulted on California's high-speed rail project and issued this absolutely damning indictment of Californian politics. The company pulled out in 2011. There were so many things that went wrong. SNCF was very angry. They told the state they were leaving for North Africa, which was less politically dysfunctional. In 2011, they went to Morocco and helped them build a rail system. There you go. Morocco's bullet train started service in 2018.
And California still doesn't have one. They've spent billions and they haven't even laid any track. The next one, that one is more recent.
Yeah,
which is Gavin Newsom pointing out that a video is showing LA burning. And then he says Gavin Newsom wants to be clear that this video is not from 2025 when he let Los Angeles burn, but from 2020 when he let Los Angeles burn. Thank you for the clarification. That's brilliant.
That's brilliant. So the caption here, people, is he must be a northerner. Jamie, would you do this? He's flagging down a fucking subway train. Yeah, they all stop, mate. They all stop. Jesus. Albanian drug dealer who illegally sneaked back into Britain weeks after being deported succeeds in remaining in the UK. How can this happen? How can he be deported and then told it's okay? Is that because he managed to get back in? Is that the game now? You deport them once, but if they get back in, they can stay because they've defeated you twice.
I don't know. I mean, it's just our judiciary is so utterly broken that they're not fit for purpose anymore. They really aren't.
So we are live, Hatchie. I don't know why you're going away. Right. Anyway, so if you want to get into the main chat, come to the horizontal stream, Hatchie. You're in the vertical, but yeah, you're pretty much on your own. There's only you and Crazy Cockney in there at the moment. Right. So Albanian drug dealer who illegally sneaked. No, we've done that. Sorry, I was addressing the consternation in the chat. I thought I was losing a viewer. My God, I'm losing a viewer. I can't get over it.
This one. This is from earlier in the week. Magic Johnson wasted the world's best porn name on a basketball career.
What did he?
Oh, I just thought that was funny.
What did he? Right. Anyway, moving on. China sends 2 aircraft carriers into the Pacific, into the big ocean, for the first time ever. Well, the first time ever they've put 2 out, or the first time ever they've gone into deep water. So beyond Japan into deep waters, a new era of naval power is here. The future belongs to China. It's maybe a bit early to say that, but I don't think aircraft carriers really wield the kind of power that they used to. And I'm a kind of Navy guy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up.
No, they don't. But these Chinese carriers, one of the things that they specialize in is drones.
Yeah.
That they're not just for fixed wing aircraft. And I saw some video of China's 6th generation fighters, which I have to say, whoever designed them made them look very, very cool. And these things are designed to use AI to control drone swarms. So the fighter comes with an added helping of drones, and it controls the drones and sends the drones off to do the things that are a bit too dangerous for the jet to do. I mean, it's crazy. But when you look at those displays that China does for like New Year and stuff, we have thousands and thousands of synchronized drones. My first thought watching that is, imagine if every one of those had a bomb on it. I mean, it's, but also in the era of hypersonic missiles. I mean, the Russians and the Chinese have got missiles that were developed specifically to kill aircraft carriers.
So here we go. Someone said today on Twitter that Starlink satellites all have lasers on them.
What has lasers on them?
Starlink satellites.
Oh, for crying out loud. Oh, just... Yeah, right, okay, whatever.
Have you seen
I
the
mean...
size of a Starlink satellite? I
Yeah,
mean,
they're
do you know
minuscule.
that? Do you know the energy requirements to fucking fire a laser that's going to make even a single
people
atom?
who say shit like that never let people who say crap like that never let logic get in the way of a good fairy tale.
Starlink satellites have lasers on them. Oh, good grief. Oh, right. For years, youth shielded Thunberg, Greta, from criticism. She's now a young woman. She's 22, I believe. And we can freely point out that she's an extraordinary imbecile. Yeah, she pretty much is. Look at her eyeing up that BAP as she got kidnapped by the Israelis. I got kidnapped, given water, a BAP, and put on a plane to France. Yeah, that's some kidnapping. She refused to watch the video.
Don't blame her. It sounds like complete garbage. That's why the Israelis haven't released it publicly.
Oh no, I've seen the video. It's fucking harrowing. I've seen a lot of shit in my time, real life shit, and it's a harrowing watch, mate. Not something I would suggest that you went into lightly. I really wouldn't. It's not. It's not shit. It's not shit. Anyway, moving on. Could Britain face a winter ice age? How future temperatures could plummet due to climate change. Read more.
We know about the Atlantic overturning the meridional current.
Yeah. The Gulf Stream
circulation.
Yeah, we know about that. But
if that shuts down, it's ice age time.
Yeah, I know, and we pointed that out in 1977.
Yeah. But there's still a possibility it could happen.
Oh yeah, of course it could. Yeah, it's more likely than burning.
Well, Ben Davidson thinks that it's more likely to happen before any of the other
lost it,
bad. Is what?
He's lost it.
Yeah, it's just because he split up with his missus.
Yeah, but he's gone way too far. He got a visit from the police as well. Yeah.
Right, so what's this one? Why is Dan Driscoll saying
he was Ashton
on
Forbes
yesterday? That seems really specific. Right.
So Army Secretary.
Well, yeah, but he's just but the Army Secretary is just as likely to have misspoken. But I don't know. They drop these things in there. Astronauts on the moon.
There's only one astronaut on the moon, and it's a dead cosmonaut. I'm telling you. You read it here first. I am telling you. There's a dead cosmonaut on the moon. Right. Who's Ben Davidson? The, what's he called? Sun Weatherman.
Yeah. Sun Weatherman on X. Runs a channel that used to be called Suspicious Observers. He's now called it Space Weather News, I think.
Here's one of yours.
Oh yeah, removing Aunt Jemima branding, but keeping high fructose corn syrup with brown dye and sodium hexametaphosphate is a pretty stellar example of how liberals love to make hollow symbolic gestures while keeping in place a system that's actually killing people.
Yeah.
That is just so spot on for all of the liberal nonsense that we've got in the world at the moment. It's you can't have Aunt Jemima branding because it's a black slavey type person, but you just keep all the crap in it. So it's just so typical, and and it's the same kind of nonsense they do here.
Yeah, like with the jam.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I saw a tweet. I asked for a tattoo of the guy from the jam. This doesn't look like Paul Weller. You imagine what was there instead? I can't see it, but it would have been, Robertson's. Yeah, Julie, you've got it. You nailed it. Right, moving on. Hooters has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. I can't imagine why that winning formula went down the tubes. Can you? Can you?
Well, you just, this is such a classic example of your entire brand is based on one thing, and then you ruin it completely because of all the woke diversity nonsense, and then suddenly you haven't got a brand anymore.
Yep.
And I mean, I would happily go to a restaurant and sit there all night if I was being served by attractive young ladies not wearing very much. But then when you look at the ones on the right, I would be actually wanting to get the hell out of there as quickly as possible. Or I'd go in there and go, nope, let's go somewhere else.
No, I think I'll eat somewhere else. You've quite put me off my food. Yeah, right.
Well, yeah, I mean, by looking at the state of them, you'd be surprised if there was any food left in the restaurant.
That's true. That's a good point. So this guy exposed himself, I think, 7 times on a train, right? And he was fined 10 quid. Not for each of them, as for the entirety. So £1.42 per indecent exposure with menaces. So there you go.
But who even? I mean, I struggle to understand what goes into someone's mind that would actually do something like that. But maybe I'm not supposed to understand it.
Yeah, people are just animals, basically. They just behave like animals. You can't fathom that, mate. They've gone too far to the dark side. Liverpool Pride cancelled for 2025. I can't imagine why. Did they cancel Pride in Brighton? No, I haven't seen anything about Pride locally. Nothing at all. Nothing in supermarkets. Nothing in the shops.
The chance
it's a joy.
There is absolutely, even if every single other place in the UK, for that matter, the world, cancelled Pride, there would still be Brighton Pride.
Yeah, because Brighton is the gay capital of the world, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Well, technically the gay capital of Britain, but it sometimes does seem like the gayest place on the whole planet. I mean, I walked out to the supermarket. The supermarket yesterday. No, Backy. I was getting Backy yesterday. And just walking down the street, and there was 3 women that were so not women, and they were walking along talking, and you could hear them with these affected kind of trying to sound like a woman voices and stuff. And but this town is like that. It's all that kind of stuff has always been fairly normal here. But it's just being taken to a complete extreme.
Lady. I'm a lady, says me. Yeah, that's me. Doctors are warning patients not to put spring rolls up their anus. Why would doctors even think about warning people not to do something? Because as soon as you tell people not to do something, what do they go and do?
It's probably because too many people are presenting in A&E with spring rolls stuck up their bum holes. I mean, but what kind of?
But why?
I don't know.
I fancy a snack. Oh, I think I'll see if I can consume it quicker by shoving it up my ass. Really? What are these people thinking?
I don't think they are. I really don't. I don't know. Maybe they're making TikTok videos or something. The world is just this crazy. I mean, this is why we call it clown world.
Yeah, speaking of clown world, check these feet.
What the hell?
I checked, and it says that's not an AI picture. I ran it through the AI checker, which is normally pretty good. It says it's not an AI picture. That's freaking scary.
Well, the picture doesn't have to be AI, but I mean, it's easy enough to elongate
I know,
in
but
Photoshop on
why
graphs.
would you? Why would you? Anyway, maybe that's why she wears such big bell bottoms, because the other foot's still inside it. Right, moving on. Nothing beats coleslaw popsicles on a hot... What?
Yeah, but then the reply, there should be a warrant out for your arrest.
Yeah, there should be.
There really should. If you are making coleslaw popsicles on a hot summer day, you should be locked up, literally, for crimes against decency, food, and probably children. If you're making, look, imagine some woke vegetarian mother.
Imagine giving that to your kids. They were like,
there was one time that because my mum went through this vegetarian phase when I was about 14 or 15, and we had pancake day, and she decided that she was going to make these wholemeal pancakes, and I swear to God, they were like hubcaps. I mean, literally, you could hold it from the bottom, and the thing would stand up. She made them once and once only, but just don't make pancakes with wholemeal flour, kids.
Hello, kids. Have you come for the pegging I promised you for being a good boy?
Oh, he'd probably enjoy it too much. But this next one,
he would. El Salvador, yeah.
I love this guy.
Right, go on.
Yeah, El Salvador regrets that because it's a reply to El Salvador. The EU regrets the adoption of the Foreign Agents Law, which risks restricting civil society and runs counter to international obligations. Recent arrests of human rights defenders raise further questions. And then Bukele replies with, EU, El Salvador regrets that a bloc which is aging, over-regulated, energy-dependent, tech-lagging, and led by unelected bureaucrats still insists on lecturing the rest of the world.
Boom! That's a fucking mic drop right there, isn't it? That is a mic drop right there.
Absolutely. And I mean, he's brilliant. Yeah, he's locked a lot of people up, but all the people that he's locked up are gang members, most of them violent.
Have you seen what they do?
Cut crime in El Salvador to pretty much nothing.
Yeah, no, have you seen what they do with like MS-13 and the other gang? I can't remember.
Yeah, what's at that Seacott place, that giant.
Yeah,
like,
but have you seen what they do? They put them in the same cell. There's
loads of them, but
there's like 30 of them in one cell, and they make sure they mix them up. So there's MS-13 and the other group in the same cell. And they daren't touch each other because if they do, they'll get fucking pummeled by the guards.
Yeah,
and they have to live together. These guys are nuts, though. I mean, these guys can never be put out in society because they're freaking. They're mentally.
I mean, if you look at it, people, all of the kind of liberal wieners are all kind of the Seacott's so bad. But when you actually look at those evil-looking tattooed wankers they've got in there, I mean. They haven't arrested women or kids or anything else. They're all these really thuggish-looking people who you don't want in polite society.
Covered in tattoos.
Yeah.
It's not that you don't want them in society. You can't have them in society or you end up with a massive murder rate, which is pretty much what these guys have finished. And they've done the right thing. You know, no compromise. If your tribe is being fucking eradicated by members of your tribe, what would you do? You would lock up those members of the tribe or you'd dispose of them one way or the other, and that's exactly what they've had to do. And
Ben, for the record, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with tattoos. I'm saying that there's something wrong with being a violent gangbanger.
There is something wrong with tattooing your entire body, including your face.
Well, this is not about tattoos.
It's not about tattoos. Well, it is about tattoos. It is about tattoos. It's about tattoos because they put their gang tattoos on their faces. Therefore, these guys, once they've got that there, that's it. They're never coming out of that gang. It is about tattoos in some respect.
And the statistics speak for themselves because Bukele basically, by doing that, has cut crime. El Salvador used to have one of the highest murder rates in the world. Now it's got one of the lowest.
It never fails to fucking amaze me how Harold comes up with the most fucking irrelevant and completely off the wall statements in chat, which has nothing to do with what we're talking about. And I know you said don't abuse the audience, and Ben used to tell me not to abuse the audience as well. But Harold has just said the brain is very soft, so it's interesting how the pineal gland is hard as a rock in most people. That's because it's calcified, isn't it? And it'll get calcified if you use a lot of fluoride. That's why I don't use toothpaste. There you go. Don't use toothpaste.
Right, moving on. After the first sip of morning coffee, that it gets it all moving, doesn't it? It really does. Um,
That's a hippo.
yeah, that was. I know it's a bloody hippo.
That's scary. I mean, I don't think they could jump like that.
You should see one when it's running.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I've seen
They
them.
run- you-
I've seen hippos running, and do you remember the life and times of Reginald Perring? Did you ever see?
No.
Oh, that was good. There was a guy who was a CEO, or he was a manager or something in a firm, and he went and put his clothes on the beach and swam out and pretended to have committed suicide. Then came back and started working for the same firm as someone else, right? but they always used to say that he was dead because he committed harikari. But every time his mother-in-law was mentioned, you used to see a hippo running across the screen.
That's actually a point that Ray has just made. It does actually look a bit much more like a capybara now.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is a capybara. Yeah, because hippos don't have feet. They've got cylindrical legs, don't they?
Yeah, they kind of have trotters, but also the hippo's face is much broader.
Yeah. I think you're right, Ray. I think I was wrong. There you go. I'll admit it. Right. Okay. Moving on. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Moving on.
Nobody hates fat
I would just
people.
give the audience one pro tip about if you ever go to Africa and you're out at night, don't never get in between a hippo and a river.
Oh, don't do it. Nobody hates fat people more than former fat people. Lizzo apparently vandalizes her old self after losing weight and getting skinnier. Skinnier. Yeah, not skinny, skinnier. Yeah, she's got a way to go.
Credit to her for losing the weight.
Yeah.
I suppose that's one way of dealing with it. But she's got self-hatred issues.
Yeah, haven't we all? Anyway, the fattest man in the world back in 1890, people paid money to see him, right? The reply is a classic. That's not even the fattest guy I've seen this evening, and I've been at home alone all day. Do you think she's on the Ozempic, Ben? Yeah, she probably has, mate. And I think there's a slide about Ozempic. So this is Sabine Hassenfelder. Do you know Sabine Hassenfelder? The next slide. I haven't put it up yet, but she's a German physicist. She's quite good. I quite enjoy her little skits on YouTube. She doesn't, well, like most Germans, she kind of tells it straight and blunt and to the point. But this is quite a good one. This is when she confused the 34 US with the 34 EU. Those pants aren't fitting, are they?
You could make a tent out of those.
Yeah. Yeah, you could make a tent out of those. But Christ, we're running through this. We're running out of slides now. So imagine that there was a 4-letter word that you could have used for fuel instead of petrol.
You just can't make up how stupid the world is sometimes.
No, you can't.
It's just mind blowing. It really is, because that is just. I mean, it's just likely to confuse people. They'll probably have the customer service people at this service station are probably inundated with people not able to find the lane.
The petrol. I'm looking for the petrol. Do you have any petrol?
Oh, lightning!
Yay! You're in an amber zone for lightning tonight.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get lightning and torrential rain, apparently.
We've already got lightning out there.
That might keep the gulls away.
I've got windows open. Hang on a minute.
Oh. He's having to go. He's having to go, people. He's going to avert.
I will be back in a minute.
Potential disaster. He may well be flooded by an insurge of rain on his 4th floor apartment. Penthouse, I believe. Right. So, apart from that, Ben has lightning as well. Well, he's just up the coast, so we should be expecting. Julie, you're not in an amber alert area for lightning. You are with me in a yellow alert area. And it will be later on in the evening that we get our dose of lightning, if we get it at all. So how is everyone in the chat? Who have I missed? Hatchie's back. Oh, he's gone. He's in and he's gone. That was quick.
It's great. It's going to be even more muggy tonight.
Yeah. Well, normally a thunderstorm clears the air, though, doesn't it? Patchy's covered in tattoos. What's happening? Right, okay. I was just reviewing some of the chat. Nothing of importance. Right, let's move on. Shalini said good night. Bye. Good night, Shalini. Right, moving on. Meme of the day, number 83. That's odd. Little skipped this store. Father's Day cards and work boots.
Yeah, AI meme.
Sorry?
AI meme.
Yeah, it's still valid. It's a valid meme. It's a valid meme. Right, moving on. Does it hurt to get a tattoo? Depends on the area. I'm in Burnley. Yeah, okay. You sure are. Fucking hell.
I saw that one. What's her name? Charlotte on X posted a really funny. She was like something about Burnley that I can't remember exactly what she said, but it was really funny.
Okay, thanks for sharing that, Ed. Right, moving on. What's the weirdest place you've masturbated? When I was 19, I was going to Southend. I went to go and lay down on the train tracks and get run over. I got bored waiting for a train, so I decided to rub one out while laying on the tracks. Post-nut clarity helped me get off the tracks and get the help I needed. Great story. And the reply. Weirdest place for me was near some railway line, watching some dude lying on the tracks beaten off. It was like a race of who was going to come first, him, me, or the train.
Oh, where do you find this shit?
I just find shit, mate. It's just I'm a shit magnet. Giving birth isn't as painful as being kicked in the nuts. Have you had a baby? No, but over the years women say, let's have another one. I've never heard a man saying, come on, kick me in the nuts again.
It's a fair point.
That's a very fair point, isn't it? Right, I've got a couple of slides left, but I've got some
that's
stuff.
also very man logic.
It's don't get woke on me now. Right, so we teased this at the start of the show. So last week was apparently National Animal Jailbreak Week. A runaway pet zebra was captured in Tennessee. It wasn't Texas. With officials later transporting it by helicopter, because apparently that's just how we handle zebra logistics now. Meanwhile, in British Columbia, an entire herd of water buffalo escaped from a farm and went wandering through a city. Like they were on some sort of bovine city break. Not to be outdone, California had 60 cows mysteriously...
Didn't change the slide.
There's no slide for these things.
Oh.
Right, I'm talking to you. In fact, I shall go back to... two by two. Yeah, I'm just talking to you people. So no slides. So now to be outdone, California had 60 cows mysteriously set loose in a city, leading to what must have been the most chaotic game of hide and seek ever. And Milwaukee got in on the action with a nearly 200-pound sheep. That's a big sheep. 200 pounds. Wandering the streets, presumably looting for a good pub. A Swiss man broke a world record by spending over 2 hours buried in snow, wearing only swimming trunks. Who decides that's a great idea for a world record? Huh? Why?
Well, the thing is, I don't know. I guess anything can be a world record. You just have to tell
because
Guinness about it.
A New York man decided the best use of his time was playing golf for 36 consecutive hours straight. Which that just sounds mental. I mean, how can you play golf for 36 hours? Were you allowed breaks?
Well, some people have the ambition of getting in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Well, yeah. Thousands of Pitbull fans dressed identically in bald caps, white shirts and black ties swarmed London's O2 Arena. The coordinated costume effort was so successful, It looked like a convention for very enthusiastic office workers or possibly the world's most musical cult. The TSA felt compelled to issue a formal warning that Costco membership cards do not count as real ID, suggesting there's been enough of a problem to warrant an official statement. And a nearly £400 alligator in North Carolina was jokingly cited for suspicion of being a dinosaur without proper papers by the sheriff's office.
What were they drinking or smoking that night?
Yeah. Creative vegetable art, quirky contest featured vegetable sculptures, including a squash Donald Trump and a papal cornclave at the Lambeth Country Show, proving that political commentary truly knows no bounds when it comes to root vegetables. There you go. Just thought I'd add them in. There are some weird things. Weird things happening this week. Weird things.
There's utterly bizarre things happening this week.
Yeah, there are. Oh, right. That sounds like my wife, actually, this one. Right. Back to the slides. Here we go. So, date a girl who wears glasses. It's like taking 2 girls when she takes them off. Wash off her makeup, and then you date 3 girls. Remove her Instagram filter, and you get to date 4 girls. Take her meds away, and you could have up to 10.
Dear.
I do like that. No, I've only got one slide left. Guys. So, you ready for it?
Let's just have a look. Just have a quick squiz to see if there's anything that we missed.
Thunder and lightning. What's the where you love me, right?
No, nothing that
You get nothing new.
Well, no, there's a few things that I didn't send you because they were in the wrong bookmark folder, but they're all just depressing nonsense anyway. So
it's too late for depressing nonsense now, mate. Too late for
that's what I thought.
Right, here we go. Oh, Hatchie's still here. Good God, man. You're hanging about like a bad smell. No, that's not a bad thing.
No, Hatchie, don't worry. There's no more Bonnie Blue. If he does another Bonnie Blue slide, I'm going to slap.
No, the last one's for men. And, I can't. I'm not endorsing it. At all. So here we go. So, Ozempic penis explained as a study shows the average penis size increasing by a substantial amount if you're on Ozempic. Well, actually, did you know that for every 40 pounds of weight you lose, your penis increases by 1 inch? Well, it doesn't increase, it just comes back out of all the fat that you've been hiding it under.
Yeah, I don't know. This just looks like big pharma marketing ploys.
Yeah, well, so it doesn't get bigger. It just the fat lets you see it. Right, okay. Whew. That's us. We're done. And no, I'm not.
Another crazy week.
I'm not apologising to the audience, Ben. Good grief, they come here expecting to be insulted. If you want to go and get not insulted somewhere, go and watch Ben's shows. He'll bore you to death with his fumbling with his bricks. Anyway, as they say.
Your autobiography is going to be called How to Win Friends and Influence People.
You could put it on my gravestone, couldn't you? It's been great for you.